Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Southside Stories, the podcast where we interview leaders, founders, entrepreneurs from in and around London. And usual reminder, please hit the notification bell, subscribe button. Lots of great guests coming up, including Tom today, who's from Operum.Tech. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
Great to have you with us. Now, we're going to talk all about technology, a subject that I think everybody is deeply immersed in and interested in, never too far from the headlines. So we're going to talk about the world of technology. But let's start with a bit of background, Tom. Let's lead us off. Where are you based? What's your job title and what's your company?
Okay, so the company name is this simple. It's Operum.Tech, and we are a technology-based company, managed service provider. We're based in London. Our hub is in Croydon, and we operate within UK, Europe, and as well US.
Great stuff. And tell us a little bit about your background then. I mean, have you always been interested in technology? Sort of what are kind of the key milestones that led you to where you are right now?
Oh, okay. Well, for me, that was easy. Like from age of, I don't know, 6, I was really into computers. It's like I remember my first experience was ZX Spectrum Plus.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I do remember those.
I think we might be of a similar age, and I do remember. I didn't have one, but my friends had them. I was deeply jealous because a couple of my friends had it.
Yeah, it's my uncle had one, and I was in love. Could not believe this was magic. This was my thing. Since then, I knew what I wanted to do. There was nothing better than this.
It's funny, actually. I think when I look back on those years, yeah, there's the ZX Spectrum, the Commodore as well.
64.
I think, yeah, Commodore 64, the BBC computer as well. We had in the UK.
I did not have that one, but there was as well Amiga,
yeah,
Atari.
That's right. Yeah. All those famous names, I mean, a lot of people like you. That was the start. You know, that's what gave them the interest. So all those mums and dads and uncles that gave their children that first wave of computing, home computing, sparked a lot of great careers.
Fun fact: the guy who created Commodore and Atari, it was actually a Polish guy.
Was he? And is that a bit of your background as well?
What do you mean?
The Poland connection, or
Yeah. I'm from Poland. I was born and raised in Poland. And the guy basically he emigrated. As far as I know, he was emigrated to US, and he created first Commodore, and then there were some problems. He left the business and he created Atari.
Great, famous Polish person. I didn't know that. Interesting. Great, Operum. Tell us about Operum.Tech. What led you to found the company, and how long have you been going?
Well, I arrived in UK in 1998 as an immigrant, so I'm very pro immigration, but the immigration that actually contribute to society, works, pays the taxes and so on, not just comes and expect handouts. And basically, I had to find my space. So at age of 23, if I remember correctly. So that was over 27 years ago. I arrived here and I said, well, I need to start doing something. And I compared this to what was happening back in Poland, and running a business was so much easier than, in Poland. I said, yeah, I want to try. And actually it worked out. For 27 years, we've been doing IT. It changed a lot. Yeah, at the start was completely different than what we do now. But it basically goes, we do, let's say, a narrower area, but we're doing it at much higher level. So people ask us for more precise stuff, but which requires way more experience. Back in time, we would basically build a PC. These days, we only deal pretty much with setting up Office 365, firewalls, and the like to make sure that people are safe.
Got it. And you mentioned MSP, or I think managed service provider.
Yes, managed service provider. Yeah.
Just say, because not everybody will know what that entails. Just give us a flavor of that.
Okay, so managed service provider is very simple. It's you have more and more technology, and not all the technology will work together seamlessly as we would like. and they need some certain adjustments. So our team basically will come to you, or remotely these days, most of the time, will make sure that all the technology works together without actually giving you too much a headache. Because problems people face is you are good at something, but you don't want to spend half a day trying to figure out
Yeah.
why this doesn't connect to the other, and let's say why my meeting is not recording correctly, why Word doesn't work, and so on. So you pay somebody who got experience, done pretty much everything, every possible mistakes, and figured out how to do it well.
And who typically would be your clients?
Our customers vary in sizes from 10 to 15 people sizes. We get some of those, but we tend to go for larger customers for, let's say, 20 to 200 people. I would say that's pretty much the best spot for us. The reason being is the smaller customers tend to not understand or don't have so much a need. I mean, they have a need, but they prefer like, let's hope nothing will happen. Where the bigger customer, we don't have to explain to them why do you need to have certain solution, but what level, and basically then we can provide better expertise to them, and they will benefit way more than smaller ones.
So tell us a bit about for a mid-sized company, say 100 plus people, what would be a typical kind of program of work for a customer like that?
So first of all, we will manage their fleet of their devices. So we'll help them to create asset tags. So let's say if you have let's say John, and John is working with you for 5-10 years. During that period of time, that person might work in different positions, and their equipment they have, for example, will change. So they might get a couple of phones, couple of laptops, and so on. And if they decide to move on, you want to know what kind of equipment they have they need to return to company. As well, setting up permissions and access to the data. It's very important. You don't want somebody from HR have access to, let's say, your dev teams, and you're somebody from, let's say, admin to have access to finance department. So you need to have a very clear, systemic access to all the properties to prevent any kind of, let's say, data leaks. Because the bad guys, when they attack you, they look for like a perfect scenario, somebody who got access to everywhere. Yeah, because with one account, then you can pretty much access everything and do a lot of damage.
Yeah. Now I've seen a huge shift in working practices since COVID, especially working from home, of course, sort of decentralized workforces. What sort of impact has that had on businesses and how you provision IT for them?
Well, we've been lucky actually. We worked in like a hybrid mode over 20 years. So we've been like, you could say, one of the pioneers. Yes. The reason is like unfortunate life actually set up that some of our people, which we started working, they had to move the location where they been, and that forces us to rethink how we approach the business. So we got a lot of experience in that field, and what we noticed, people, I don't care whether if I'm working with you and I employ you for your expertise, I should not really care if you sit 5 meters from me or 5,000 kilometers away from me, as long as you can deliver a job. And I need to find tools that will deliver that. So COVID was a fantastic acceleration of that trend, because likes of Zoom and then obviously Microsoft Teams and they basically start building tools that actually provided a very easy way of transferring. For us, actually, for every MSP, COVID turned out to be like a really big blessing in disguise, because everybody was worrying like, oh, whether we'll go out of business. But MSPs, they had fairly good situation, because pretty much everybody then start shifting away from desktop solutions to laptops. So that generates a lot of revenue to us and allows us to grow faster. So that was fantastic from our point of view, and allow lots of businesses to retrain. So the businesses achieve two things. One, they can work from different place, and two, the data is not locked to one location. So if the office goes down, they still can work and access the data, which is fantastic.
Now, you talk about touchless support, and it'd be great to know a bit more about what that means. And I guess as part of that is, and I see it, with my wife, for example, who um, works for a kind of finance house. So they have a lot of, security and firewalls and, the VPN. They work remotely for a couple of days a week. What does kind of touchless support mean in terms of both kind of hardware provision and also the setup for something that might be remote?
Okay, so the the touchless support, the idea is to basically making people way more productive. So if you have somebody in, let's say, on the customer side, and usually it's not an IT person, or even if it's IT person, they will have quite a lot of on their plate. So you have people coming in, people leaving, some faults and repairs and so on. So you'll be very much busy. So what we do, we take all the headache associated and we just simplify. So the customer just sends us an email when the person is starting, which type of machine we should use, and that's it. Our team will take care of rest, preparing the machine, setting it up, arranging with the user where the machine should be shipped to. We'll deliver the machine using one of the couriers, FedEx and like. They'll get the machine, open up, and start working on it. And if they have any problems, our team is there. So one of the engineers will give them a call and help them and say, look, you save files in these folders. This is how you print. This is where you have access to your emails and so on. So on the first day, we show a person like how they can integrate themselves quickly without actually making problems or expensive mistakes within the system. And that's tend to work quite well. Because I imagine like you're coming to a new place and you want to impress everybody. And if you can't figure out how to access the emails because they got different system than you had before, that's quite stressful. So we
Yeah.
take all that headache on us and help the customer.
Do you think over the 20 years that you've been doing this, has the end user got more proficient, or is there are just so many more platforms and things to navigate through? Actually, they might have got more proficient, but actually the complexity has got higher.
I think you had a very smart, I would say very smart and spot on observation. It's we increasing our knowledge, but the amount of stuff that is actually coming on the market is growing at such a rapid pace that still the weakest link in IT is still human. And I think the technology, the times when the technology fails will be less and less, but the human factor will be more and more because unfortunately we can fall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was just thinking, the last couple of sort of companies I've worked for, put it that way, and it's always okay. What tools are you using? What systems? What things that you've already spoken about? Okay, you're using, is it Teams or is it Yammer or is it Slack? Or there's a you kind of become more and more well, you try to become more proficient at using some of these different tools, but yeah, it's quite complex in terms of the environment in which you start work now.
It is. There are so many. It's like it feels like every month something new is popping out,
Yeah,
and like if you just take your eye for a month, somebody will tell you like, oh, there's this new app, everybody's using it. Uh, and back in a time, there was more monolithic type of systems. You had Windows, and pretty much it was just Windows,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
a little bit of Macs and so on. These days, if you mention Mac and iPhone, everybody knows what you're talking about.
yeah.
But let's say 15, 20 years ago, if you said Mac, people were saying, what does it look like?
Yeah, I remember when Mac was really just a preserve of ad agencies and creatives. That was it.
Yeah.
Times have changed. Um, do you? I mean, and can you operate that model in the UK, or because of course we're dealing with multinational companies? Can you use your same model in
Yeah.
terms of different geographic footprint?
Yeah, we shipped we got three hubs, so to speak. One is for UK, one is for EU, and one for US. So we can deliver machines pretty much from any of the hubs. Yes, obviously how it works, customers deliver, either they ship to our hub the existing machines they have, or we can get them machines from the location. So obviously, if you have a company in UK, but then you have somebody working, let's say, I don't know, let's say in Berlin, in Warsaw, or somewhere else, you don't want necessarily to ship a machine from London, because then it will take probably a week because of Brexit, or longer. Plus you pay customs. But if we buy that machine for a company within EU, the machine is with the user within a day, and you don't pay any customs.
Yeah, yeah, great. Differentiation. How do you differentiate? What's the competition look like for you, and how do you differentiate?
Competition, it's market is very crowded, so there's a lot IT. Everybody wants to be IT. It's one of the sexy type of jobs, I suspect. So people want to do it. And how we, well, actually, we ran actually recently a survey. One of our marketing director said, "Tom, I want to find out why people using you." And the main answer we had from the survey was because we are part of the team. Practically all the customers we surveyed answered that we've been part of, almost like they feel that we are part of their internal team, because we don't come to them to just sell something for sake of selling, but our goal is to provide them value. If the solution which I feel is the best solution for you will not provide me any value, I will still provide you with that, because I believe long term this is the right approach. And the reverse, I will not provide you something if I will benefit, but it will not bring you any benefits. Yes, because that for me is crazy. This is a two-way street. It's a partnership, nothing else.
So trust. Trust, integrity. They sound like key ingredients.
Very important. But without this, you can't run a business, at least in my opinion.
Because actually, you are really in a trusted situation, aren't you? I mean, you've got access to systems, information.
Yeah, I mean, you can still check everything, and every IT should be checked, every person. But you're right. We can. We touch the data, but we touch the if somebody would try to open that data. So let's say if I work on your system, I might be able to open your mailbox, but then it will be in a system log that I did access, I did read your. But obviously, if you don't check that, you wouldn't know. But there is something like this, so every IT should be aware of that, or every
Now
customer.
you work. Yeah. Okay. Now you work across different sectors. Lots of different industries, including charities and tech companies. And are there any big differences between some of those segments that you work with?
Yeah. There are massive differences because the two biggest differences are charities and, let's say, tech. Yes, startups. Charities, they work everything about efficiency and how to save money, because they based all their lives around grants. So they need to be extremely careful and extremely prudent on how they spend money. So they need to spend a lot of time thinking how to preserve the money, how to have the biggest right on what they have. The startups, on the other hand, they burn through everything. So they need to have extremely powerful. Let's say for them, let's say they don't think, do I buy medium or good hardware? They'll buy very good hardware. But the reason is very simple. If they get very good hardware, they can deliver what they need, and that could mean for them success, or the company will fail. So they basically go ahead full steam.
Yeah, it's interesting actually that. Well, there's sometimes you wonder if the some of those startups could learn a bit from the charities in terms of cost, managing costs. Actually, the last company I worked for, I was quite amazed actually because everybody day one had a fully spec'd out brand new MacBook Pro. Uh, and that company sort of got into some cash flow problems really from the burn rate. I mean, of course, it wasn't just the hardware. I think, but it was sort of symptomatic in a way of their whole attitude to okay, big watch funding and then the
Yeah,
spend. They
yeah.
sort of had that mentality.
I mean, it is a specific of the world. It's like there is a saying: if you in Poland we have, if you go between the crows, behave like a crow. Uh, and it's unfortunate, yes, because the startups usually have they go, they need to. So one they attract the talent in lots of different ways. One of them is we'll give you super new, extremely high end equipment, and that's one of the perks of the job. The
Yeah,
techie people
yeah,
like to have like a gizmo. So
yeah,
if you don't know what you do at the beginning, like as a business, then giving people stronger equipment might be a good idea because somebody might turn out to be a better than the rest. And to give you an idea, one of the ex OpenAI employees set up a business. They had no product, nothing really set up as a road to a product. Within 6 months, they raised $2 billion, and they've been valued at $12 billion. So you can imagine if they buy even the most expensive MacBook Pros, maxed out and so on, that will be tiny fraction of what they
yeah,
value at. Yeah, so obviously startups
yeah,
are a different breed.
yeah. Horses for courses. I don't know if you heard of that UK. So you've
I
got
did
between
have,
the
but I'm not.
crows. We've got
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, we've
yeah.
got horses for courses is a phrase we sometimes use. Actually, yeah, I was thinking that it that day that I had that night, I received that MacBook. I was like, this is great. It actually made me feel good as an employee. It made me feel like I joined the right company. The sort of same values. That it was. Yeah, that was an important part of the onboarding in that company. Let's switch though a little bit to the world of security, and we rarely go a week without data breach, phishing attacks, spoofing. Of course, the big one that we've had in the UK in the last 3 months was Marks and Spencers. I'm not sure
Answer,
the
yeah.
detail behind the Marks and Spencers. But it turns out it actually looks like it was three teenagers. But tell us a little bit about how do you work with either on your own or with the IT department to safeguard customer employee data and access to systems.
Okay, so IT security is one of the toughest parts of IT
Mm.
because there isn't one system that can do everything. It's a circle, yes, and a circle basically needs just one break, and that's it. Your line of defense is breached. But what you can do if you, uh, I don't remember if you recall, many years ago, there were two internet giants, Google and Yahoo. Along the same time, Google and Yahoo were breached, but they took different stance behind. So Sergey Brin, he from Google, he said, never ever again. And he invest a lot of money and
Yeah.
they make very transparent what was happening at Google.
Yeah.
Whereas Yahoo hid it under the carpet. They say like, we'll just hide it and nothing really happened. And that transformed later and it showed which approach was correct. Google pretty much had this problem under control and they lead in quite tight ship. It leads to extra investment from them. They created this group of researchers who go over the internet and look for any kind of security vulnerability and they fix them. Why? Because their ethos, their approach is to use our product, you have to use internet. If something is not safe on the internet, we should fix that. On the other hand, we don't hear anything like that from Yahoo. And Yahoo was basically breached many, many times later.
Yeah. It
So
was.
what we need to do is educate users and don't just follow up. One tool will resolve every problem because it will not. Because as you saw, three teenagers managed to figure out something and they basically broke one of the biggest retailers in UK.
Yeah, yes, those are great examples. Actually, no, I remember the Yahoo breaches, and I think I think in the US, I think they got some substantial fines, certainly some wrist slapping, and it was sort of, yeah, it was kind of symptomatic. It was kind of an example of the whole management ethos. I think where Yahoo was at that point versus a company like Google. I mean, in a practical sense, though, I mean, bring it closer to home. What are what are some of the fundamentals that when you're working with perhaps a new client, what are some of the fundamentals that you put in place around this?
Well, the important part is being systematic. You need to really have a clear understanding what you're protecting, what's the size, where our responsibility starts and ends, and go through. Because the biggest problem usually is when there is a miscommunications, and this is how a lot of social engineering comes in, because if you don't understand where your responsibility ends and starts, there will be a situation where somebody can come in a very smart way, persuade you to release something confidential. And the people who attack you, what they will do, they will try to play on that. So they research a company, and with the help of AI, they will go deeper and deeper because they will try to create really personalized awareness of what you have. And from there, they will try to extract information and basically pinpoint precisely where they think somebody might give the information. And they only need one person usually. And that's it, yes. And then they
Yeah.
obviously can spread.
Yeah. Let's let's use AI. I mean, no conversation can happen these days without AI being talked about. What and you've alluded to it there. I mean, the world of technology has changed. I don't know. Do you think that's a question for you actually? Do you think where we are with technology now, it feels to me like it's never moved as quickly. What's your view on that, and where do you think it's going to go, and what are the impacts do you think on your business and your client's business in the context of being a managed service provider?
Well, humans are horrible at abstract things, and it's very difficult to imagine something which we never experienced before. Like, look at the smartest people in the world. Let's say, example, Mark Zuckerberg. He rebranded his company from Facebook to Meta because he thought, the VR goggle will be the very big next thing. And so far, it didn't turn out to be right. But then AI come out, and everybody basically jumped on the craze of AI
Yeah.
to ChatGPT. Now everybody is doing AI. AI definitely will have an impact. But what I think is happening, the AI will accelerate increase of our performance because AI doesn't care. Yes. So let's say if you have to send an email, you send extremely important email. AI might craft that email better than you would, yes, using the right words, but AI will not care whether this email will achieve the objective you want. So let's say customer will say, yes, let's go ahead with your idea. You, on the other hand, as a human, you will care a lot. So AI can, if AI sends by accident like a wrong email and you end up actually losing the customer, AI will not care. So smart using the AI will increase what we do much faster. So rather than spending an hour crafting email, I'll do that in 30 seconds. But then I can direct more and more things. So this is what I think AI will evolve into. So it gives us more. So like before, we've been using horse and cart. Yeah, so we could go only, let's say, 5 miles or 10 miles a day. These days, we can go way more with a car. So the same with the AI and let's say handwriting. Yeah, you could write a couple of handwritten emails, letters, Then there were emails, and now with AI, we can deal with the thousands of things in a very quick manner. So that's where I think the AI will go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose in as much as AI can potentially spoof people, trick people, emulate human behavior for malicious purposes, I guess we're also seeing amongst, I know this is not quite your area, but amongst those companies that are trying to protect us, you see, I assume that they are, also looking at how AI can spot weird behaviors, weird trends, unexpected behaviors, breaches, better kind of flagging of unauthorized access attempts and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there is a HackerOne. This is like a service, and recently the AI became the top researcher who spots most of the vulnerabilities.
Right.
And this is expected. I would say I feel this is just a progression. Why? Because AI can work 24/7 without any break. It just goes and compares the patterns. But AI, at least for now, can't predict invent some of the new things which human can.
Right.
We still have the at least for now, we got certain edge, and we might figure out something completely different. That might change, yes. But the problem with AI and, as you say, limitations is it's a little bit, we are being pushed into the zero sum game where one side wins means the other side lose, and that's on a bigger scale, or like a global scale between countries. Every country will compete, and if they will take this on survival base, that's a very difficult subject because Russia, China, North Korea, UK, EU, and alike, every of these countries will have a very tough choice, especially if you don't play with people who might be sensible.
Yeah.
That's difficult.
Good point. Let's bring it back down to Operum.Tech now. Let's get into that a little bit more. So, just running the business. Do you run it, Tom, by yourself? Have you got a partner? Or
if you want to, there's a saying: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So yeah, I got a team of people. Without them, I would never be able to achieve what we did. So yeah, you can only create a business that lasts with team of really trusted people.
And how's your growth? What's that sort of been like in the last couple of years? And what's your ambition for the future, next couple of, let's say, 5 years?
We grew and then we downsized, and at some point our team was much larger, but then we changed the way we've been doing business. So we had to downsize because the format which we had didn't work out. Then we have an idea to expand aggressively in Poland, which worked fairly okay, but unfortunately we made a bad business decision. And the partner which we had then basically decided to split from us because we took a massive financial hit. My mistake. We should cut that sooner. Made mistake there. Recover what we lost, regroup, and then we building our business again back in UK. And as I said, with the view to grow in US, Europe, and outside currently. So at the moment we have around 8 people plus another 8 subcontractors, and we hoping to double what we have within next couple of years, within less than 5 years. Try to find the right businesses that will, fit our perfect customer view and obviously grow.
I think you mentioned earlier that as well as Poland, you've got some multinational clients. What about the US? Any plans for North America?
Yeah, I mean, we are trying to grow there organically because some of our customers are based in UK and US, and some of them basically they cover the whole world. So we're trying to expand to those areas where our customers already exist and provide them with the support. Because at least from my experience, the easiest way to grow a business is to go where your customer are, not to go to a new area and try to find customer there, because that might not work for whatever reason. But if you have customer already there who is willing to pay for your service, if you go there, fantastic.
So, okay, so looking to expand US organically, double the team, and I guess doubling revenue commensurate with the team size.
I would hope we will not just double, but well, way increase what we have per head, because that's basically what the improving the efficiency should be about. It's not just adding extra people and just a little bit of revenue, because then that doesn't really scale well.
Yeah. And what are your biggest challenges in executing on that ambition?
The biggest trouble we have is finding new customers. Yes, because it's a very saturated market. So when we go across new customer, it's not like a very frequent event, because people usually stay with the IT people, and only when there's a massive problem that they'll decide to move. But on the other hand, we have a very loyal customer base, so it's not like we lose customers frequently. So once they're there with us, it's not unusual. They will stay 10, 15, 20, 30 years with us.
Is your strategy then, in terms of acquiring new customers, do you tend to look at, you mentioned startups before, what would be some of the kind of business size, or would it be startups where you'd see most of the growth coming from? Or
yeah, the technology, yes. Technology startups, they tend to grow like a super quick. So when we started with one of the recent new customers, when we started talking to them, they were something like 40 people. By the time we signed up the contract, which was like 6 months later, they grew to 150 people. So they over triple, within the space of 6 months.
That's a dream client for you, isn't it?
Yeah. It's fantastic, but it is enjoyable to working with people like that, because then, as I say, you don't argue like which should you go for a higher level of license, or maybe maybe we should cut down on the laptop. No, they just want fast and really good solutions.
Yeah. 20 years in plus, you've been through, a lot of technology changes, COVID, a whole bunch, Brexit, a whole bunch of different challenges. What do you think your biggest learning for you personally has been over the last 5-10 years?
Well, I think you need to stay humble, and you need to understand that you don't know everything. And I think the biggest thing I learned is to talk to my team, and I can't be the smartest person in the room. If I'm the smartest person in the room, I do something really badly. I need to bring the smartest people I can find and listen to what they tell me. Not to tell them what to do, but tell them an idea where I want to get, but listen to what they tell me, and then together execute.
Yeah. Great. That's a very important one. It's great to hear you do that, because there are quite a lot of leaders, actually, especially founders, who don't do that. That I was speaking to somebody this morning, and it sounded like the way he runs his team is kind of he decides and everybody executes. And then he was sort of talking to me about why he felt his team were not coming up with their own ideas and their own innovations, their own ways of doing things. So it's great to hear your style of leadership there. Let's stay with leadership, actually. So, final question. It's a question I ask everybody, and I always find this fascinating, which is a leader that's had, or it could be anybody, I say leader, but it could be anybody, somebody that's had the biggest personal impact on you, or who's influenced you, or some that you've drawn some kind of key lessons from. Who would be a person, living or dead, that might have inspired you?
I mean, uh, there is lots of people. I love reading,
Yeah.
and because what I somebody I don't remember who actually said it, but if you read a book, you can gain someone life experience within few hours,
Yeah.
which is extremely valuable. But
Yeah.
from my experience, like for example, Julius Caesar, he was super amazing because he could always come out with, when he was pressed in a hard spot, he figured out how to think, so to speak, out of the box and come out with the solution to a problem, and that saves his life and leads to the legends being written about this guy. The same thing is true for every big leader. Yes, if you look in these days, everybody, like Steve Jobs, they hit some kind of like a massive problem, a wall. And majority of people will just stay there. They don't know the solution, and those very unique people, they will find a way how to go around it and find the solution. Then this is not end of the road. It's just another obstacle, and they figure out the way to go around. So that's really what is important to me. It's like go through and find people who had that kind of problem and see how they think and try to apply what they learn from them and see whether I can get as smallest, at least tiny amount of success as they did.
Great stuff. Love it. Yeah. Thinking on your feet. Um, yeah, I love the fact that you do read a lot, and because not everybody does these days either. And I totally agree with you that in fact, actually, at Action Coach, our founder, he's very, very keen on everybody reading and learning. And in fact, he reads a book a week. Now, I don't manage that pace. I think I average about one book every 2 weeks, but it is
Huh?
incredible. Yeah, not bad actually. Yeah, I basically have a default diary. So from like 7 to 7:30, I have my coffee and I have my half an hour reading slot, and
Nice.
I have another half an hour booked at the end of the day. That one sometimes gets knocked around a little bit, but the one in the morning I normally stick to. And actually, even if you just do 30 minutes or 15 minutes even a day, actually over a week, it actually racks up quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
that's great. That's the first time we've had Julius Caesar on. I love that historical one. That's brilliant. I was saying to you before, actually, I had something last week. It was Henry V, Abraham Lincoln, and who else? Yeah, Barack Obama. So
Yeah.
great that we can still learn these life lessons and leadership lessons from history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just because the default, not well, a year ago it was always Elon Musk, and yeah, he's sort of slightly out of favor now. But yeah, it's good. It's good that people have got a wider outlook.
I mean, there's so many people. It's that's the
Yeah,
beautiful thing. It's like for example, I love Warren Buffett advice and Charlie
yeah,
Mangus on finance. But there's countless number. We could create a new podcast to bring like interesting ideas and thoughts and advice from all these great people.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Trying to distill it down into bite-sized chunks and making it kind of relevant to people. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Tom, it's been fabulous talking to you. Thank you so much for your
Thank you very
time.
much. Thank you very
And
much.
we will keep in touch. And yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to hearing about how you go with your ambition. I think you're in a great spot. Clearly, you've carved out a really good reputation, as we were talking about. And you're in a fascinating area because it never stops, right? The IT area, hardware developments, everything is moving at incredible pace.
It increases the pace. Unfortunately, it goes faster by year.
It does, seems to. Yeah. Tom, thank you so much. Best of luck. And thanks for your
Thank you
time
very
today.
much.